afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another State of the Balance from your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda and only authorized source to talk about balance, obviously. Anyone else is committing vile and heretical crimes against mankind. So, State of the Balance, what has sort of happened in the previous period? I mean, obviously we got the September patch sort of announced, and there's certainly a lot of things that are being looked at, but, you know, what is the current state of things? How are things looking in terms of, like, you know, the meta? I mean, overall with the certs, there's not really been any sort of major changes, still relying heavily on conscript. Well, there's more conscripts overall thanks to the mobile reserve things, but I mean, beyond that, it's not like there's been any wild changes. Some will go for T35, some go for IS2, some rely on T34s. There's sort of, you know, some degree of variety there. The only thing that's sort of like highly common is T70s and double cis guns, and certainly there's a part of me that thinks the cis gun could in some regard probably do with being toned down just a bit somewhere over the rainbow. And the T70, I mean, they're slightly making it easier to rush out with the support company, which is a bit worrying, to be honest. The T70 is already very nasty, so that could possibly put things in favour of the surge, but then again, there's still time to go, but it's sort of, you know, a possible thing to keep on. But beyond that, there's not really a lot of there to say about the surge. They got some strategic variety, some diversity. It's not just everyone's playing the goddamn same things. I mean, that's usually a positive. Moving on to the Brits, I mean, sections are getting nerfed, finally, huzzah, and certainly a lot of their strategies just basically revolve around getting a lot of sections and tossing them at the enemy. Strategic variety, there is some, but things tend to sort of just end up in Churchill tanks, because that one I feel is too efficient, and I feel like in this regard, just slightly slapping on the wrist there with extra pop cap, I think it's not really going to manage much to really stop that from being like the favourite strategy from a lot of British players. I mean, in terms of doctrines, Roll Artillery is popular because you can always just rely on calling in the Valentine tanks, or, you know, bail you out or just push an advantage. It's just very flexible like that. You get, you know, the usual cheeky breaky with advanced emplacements, some with Commanders, some with Vanguard, though also some with Lend-Lease Assault, but the vast majority I feel like at the moment is just Roll Artillery, which again to an extent just boils down to lots of artillery and the Valentine tank, and they might just want to tie the Valentine tank to tech and just get it over with. That would sort of be my opinion, or at least sort of maybe nerf the AC Mark III, so it's less just a super easy, cost-efficient combo to work together, because that I think also plays a minor role in sort of just how that pans out. Beyond that, there's not really much else to the Brits, except yay, sections getting nerfed, and I guess they're making the common a bit more viable, so again, that's going to slightly shift things up there as well, but sections getting nerfed is pretty big, so 2 thumbs up there. And with the Americans, I mean, some strategic variety again, like they go captains, they go for lieutenants, there's 50 calibers, pack calibers, which are also getting nerfed. Mortars they could sort of do more with, but I don't think that's because the mortar is bad, just the pack calibers is better, and a lot of time they just don't bother with artillery. I mean, beyond that, there's some degree of variety in the doctrine. Some go heavy carry, some go heavy assault, some go airborne, some, well, recon support is popular, and again, that boils down just, you know, easy stuff to call in, so you don't have to bother with teching, and some otherwise good support abilities, or maybe that needs a touch in somewhere there. But I mean, even then, you're still sort of seeing some variety in terms of doctrine. It's just recon support seems a bit overrepresented, if you will. But I've seen players sort of, you know, spotting out in other directions. Moving on to the Germans for the Oberkommando as well, Spec Hubs is very much what like 90% of the Oberkommando players will go for, with the Command Panther over the Puma. You know, Luke's Command Panther stall strategy, very much straightforward, boilerplate. It's basically just, you know, gruel at this point for the Oberkommando West, and apparently they love it. But yeah, that's finally getting touched upon, so that's great. So we're seeing less of those strategies. They do become harder to execute efficiently, which is really why it's so popular. It's just an incredibly efficient strategy compared with a lot of other things, and that's obviously a problem. Volkswagen Nest, while being light, might also slightly plus with the Sturmpanzer, but slightly touch things upon there. But I mean, really, it's just Volkswagen Dispam, Lux Puma, Command Panther, with some variations there, some with more orbital Darden. Very few will go for the Kugelwagen, and the Kugelwagen I still feel like needs something extra. There's a few more now going for King Tigers, probably in preparation for the King Tiger getting buffed as well. But beyond that, it's not really any sort of major shifts in the Oberkommando West strategy. We'll have to see if sort of the patch can sort of, you know, do something a bit more permanent there, now that the Command Panther stall strategy is, you know, less the damn bleeding obvious thing, and again, just the easy thing to go for, since it's just as much, I think, the ease of it that just makes it so potent, since again, if you don't have to worry about as much as tech, there's, you know, a lot of things you can always just focus on, so it has a lot of straightforwardness there. I think that just makes it really straightforward and just easy to go for. As for the Wehrmacht, there is some variety. German infantry is popular, Lightning War, elite troops. I mean, you still get some doctrinal variety there from the Wehrmacht. Grenadiers have become much more popular with Panzer Grenadiers. Even Storms were sort of slightly falling out of favour, and that might just be again due to the prevalence of infantry sections and other things, and just again Grenadier spam just being straightforward and easy. I don't think it's because Panzer Grenadiers or Stormtroopers are bad, just they require more effort and they don't necessarily always just bring in sort of ease of it which you want, and that's always something to keep in mind, like, are the rewards worth it for the stuff you're sort of the effort you're putting into it? And that's not necessarily always the case, and that might be something they sort of, you know, want to look into a bit there. And they're trying to make the mortar more attractive, and the 251.5, they kind of feel like they're backing up the very wrong tree in both cases, and simply making G43s viable for the Panzer Grenadiers. I feel like it's also just a fool's errand, personally. A bit harsh maybe, but I feel like, you know, there's better ways they can look into that one. Still, you got some variety there. Panzer IVs are common. There's still some to experiment with, you know, Ostman's rushes, and they can be effective if done correctly. Otherwise, I mean, you got some heavy Panzer Corps moves with Sturmpanzers and Panthers. I mean, there's some variety there with the Wehrmacht, also Doctrine, again, German infantry, you got elite troops, Lightning War, and you got this and that as well. Jägerarmor for the team games, and so on. And team game balances basically just boils down to a lot of the maps is just straight up trash, and they need to clean up the 2 versus 2 map pool with a flamethrower or, you know, a bloody exterminators. I mean, at this point, the 2 versus 2 map pool is largely unsalvageable at this rate. Like, they, again, just call in the Inquisition and just deal with it, because it's largely heretical at this point to good game design and balance. So that's sort of, I think, sort of the rough idea there in terms of the overall state of affairs. Again, there are issues, and the patch is actually looking to actually more actively solve them, but again, with the Wehrmacht, the stuff they're trying to pull, except for the Tiger, maybe I feel like is going to fall a bit short, because again, it's not going to make the half-track more attractive, and it's not going to make the mortar more attractive. Like, counter batteries is pointless, because in 99 of the matches you're going to play it in, you're never going to need it, and the one match you might, you still got better option than using counter battery. It's just not a very effective ability, a very useful ability. It's an ability with incredibly niche usage, since it's really only going to be good against other mortars, and it requires you to lock down the mortar, then you know, hope it hits. I don't know. I don't think it's very good. Increasing the range is not going to do anything towards it. Like, the only ones that sort of the enemy side use mortars consistently is the Brits, and that's the mortar emplacement. Your mortar's not going to have a chance against that anyway, so just drop it, Relic. And some of the half-track, I mean, if you want to scout, you got the 222 or Pioneers. I feel like I need to make the 250 half-track a bit more useful in just terms of supporting troops around it more offensively. So yeah, that's sort of my thoughts there. But again, overall, interesting looking patch. Hopefully should shake things up, and again, hopefully leads to less repetitive play patterns. And in particular with the Oberkommers, I think that's one of the major issues. But it might, the Wehrmacht probably still needs something. I mean, if you're sort of looking at how many players play at the higher ranks, and so at least when I'm looking for matches, a lot of them are Oberkommando West, like a lot of Oberkommanders, not a lot of Wehrmacht in comparison. So they do need to look into the Wehrmacht. Part of the problem is just with the Wehrmacht, you have to put in so much more effort compared to with the Oberkommando West, but the rewards just aren't there. So, I mean, one thing I really want them to also just buff Blitzkrieg tactics, like give it more firepower when they're doing it. I mean, decrease the accuracy like the old Blitzkrieg from Company 1, but just give it more firepower. Moving, encourage the player to be aggressive and flank with it instead of just, you know, not much there. So that will sort of be some of my suggestions there. But there you go, that's sort of the state of the balance. Not much to say there, but I do hope, you know, we get a nice sort of shift there with the September patch whenever it hits in September. Hopefully we don't have to begin singing Wake Me Up When September Ends, because that's going to be awfully bloody pointless. So there you go. Hopefully you've learned a bit from this video. Hopefully it gives you ideas, or at least something to look forward to. This is Imperial Lane signing off. I'll be back another time with another video. And of course, if there are any major updates to the September patch sort of preview, I will be sure to make videos on those, sort of dictating, well, explaining what's sort of going on there, what my thoughts on that are. So this is Imperial Lane signing off, and see you all another time for another video. Cheers.